Hi, and welcome to another video with American Logistics Academy. In today's video, I want to go ahead and explain to you the pros of being an independent dispatcher and not owning your own business. Now, I want to go ahead and explain to you guys why it's good to be an independent dispatcher and work for a company or work for a dispatching company. Now, the reason for that is because when you work for a dispatching company or you work for a trucking company, you don't have any huge responsibilities of owning up a business or basically having to build up a business. Now, you're working into something, working yourself into something that's already completely established. Now, whichever direction you do go, whether you want to open up your own business or become your own, or become a independent dispatcher and dispatch for a trucking business, or for a dispatching business, then we wish you the best of luck with whichever decision you go ahead and take on for your next step into this career. Now, I want to go ahead and explain a little bit more to you guys about becoming just an independent dispatcher and just working through another truck company or, for example, a dispatching company. What are the pros and cons to it? What's the good things about it? What's the bad things about it? Now, obviously, when you're working for a company, you have no type of responsibilities as far as being able to market the business or being able to have any upfront cost to build up the business. So basically, when you go into a site of work to go work for a company, you basically have everything given to you, right? As far as the materials, the work itself, basically you're walking into something that's completely established. Now, obviously, there's a lot of individuals who like to establish their own business and like to establish their own selves. But that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone has to do that. Like I said, whichever direction you go ahead and take, we wish you the best of luck. But like I said, this video is going to explain to you the pros and cons of just being an independent dispatcher working for someone else. Now, like I said, one of the biggest things why people go and work for other people is because something's already established. You're working for a business that's completely established, that's already built up, and you have no type of management to do. A lot of individuals don't like to do any type of management and don't like to really have the hassle of being on top of other people or being in charge of other people. They just like doing their work and getting things over with and getting their job tasks done throughout the week and getting paid for that specific job task. Now, that's a good thing. Like I said, I'm not underestimating or saying that becoming a business owner is better or becoming an independent dispatcher is better. Whichever direction you do go, there's enough revenue to be made. Now, obviously, one of the cons that you have as becoming a independent agent for someone is that obviously you're not building up your own business, so you're not the boss. Obviously, you have someone that you're working under that you have to command to. Obviously, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be something that's a hassle or that's bad. For the most part, 60% of population works for someone for the first 20 to 25 years of their life. It's a completely normal thing to do. Now, when you're working for someone, you do have to understand and know that you have no responsibilities as far as the business itself. You don't have any type of marketing costs. You don't have to worry about building up the business. You're just there to work and to get your work done. Now, obviously, there's a really good thing about being an independent dispatcher for a company is you get to build up the reputation. You get to build yourself up as a dispatcher. So then later on in the near future, you could become your own business owner. Now, there's a lot of individuals who take that route of work. Now, most commonly, and I believe in my opinion, the best thing to do is if you're new into the industry, work as an independent dispatcher, work as a dispatcher, understand what dispatchers are, what they do, who they are, just kind of get down to what dispatching is. Obviously, there is no type of rush into success, so you have to understand that learning what dispatching is and working for someone else doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to do it for the rest of your life. You can work as an independent dispatcher working for a company, whether it's a truck company or a dispatching company, and you can still make very good revenue, and you can learn the business in and out before you start your own business, before you start to put your own money into investments. Now, that to me is a huge pro of not starting your own business at that current moment and just becoming an agent, right? Just becoming basically a dispatching individual looking for loads for truck companies or for dispatching companies. You get to learn the business inside and out before you start to invest any type of revenue into this business. Then you definitely are going to have a lot more experience. You're going to have a lot more knowledge to it, other than just kind of rushing into the business method itself and maybe not knowing anything or very little or to absolutely nothing about the business. And like I said, it really just comes down to you as an individual. There's a lot of individuals who are just business minded that could have absolutely no idea about the transportation industry and can build a very successful business. It really comes down to you. But me personally, if you don't have that much experience in the industry of transportation or in the industry of dispatching, then and you're looking for something to take care of your bills, take care of your lifestyle, to basically take care of you, and you don't have any type of other compensation or revenue, I believe that you should start working as a dispatcher, as an independent dispatcher for a company, because there's going to be a lot more favoritism to yourself. And little by little, like I said, as you start building a reputation, as you start building more experience in the industry, you can transfer your experience and your time as an independent dispatcher, and then later on in the near future, you can start your own business. So, like I said, there is no type of rush to success. You take your time, you do as you please, and you definitely want to go ahead and make sure that when you are doing this transition, that you have enough experience for this industry at that time being. Now, what I want to go ahead and touch base on is, now that you guys kind of understand, what's the pros and cons of maybe working as an independent dispatcher and then opening up your own business. Obviously, like I said, you're going to not have any type of expenses working for a company because everything's there for you. You just have to do the job tasks. So that's a pro, but obviously the con is that you lose time, you obviously will lose time. You will lose, maybe you go work there for a whole entire year. That's a whole entire year that you could have built your own company. But at the same time, it really just depends on you as an individual, because there's a lot of people who have to build experience to build their own business. And there's a lot of individuals out there that could have absolutely zero knowledge about a certain industry and they could build a whole entire business. So it definitely really comes down to you. And like I said, if this is completely new to you and this is a new industry to you, I completely 100% believe that you should work as an independent dispatcher before you start opening up your own business. And if you're definitely not used to being someone who manages something, or that that maybe you have always worked kind of under micromanage, under a manager who kind of checks up on you and sees how you're doing and stuff, then I suggest you do like a year of transportation before you invest into any type of into any business, because that way you'll have that type of comfort to know if this is something that's going to be good for you or bad for you, or if this is something you're going to enjoy, instead of spending all that investment money into this and then you end up failing or not wanting to do it. Then the best thing to do is become an independent dispatcher. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about the load board here a little bit. I want to go ahead and touch something based here. As far as you guys, if you guys do decide to maybe one day become your own dispatching business, I don't want you guys to, think that if you become your own dispatching business, something's going to change in your job function. No, it's actually going to be the same exact job function. Nothing really is going to change as far as the format of working as a dispatcher. It honestly will be the same exact cycle. You will be on a load board looking for loads for these trucks that you're booking freight for. There is no other type of different way to be able to run this. The only difference is that as an independent dispatcher, you work for someone and you're finding freight for a carrier, whether you're working directly with that carrier or you're working for a dispatching company that's representing that carrier. As a business owner, then it's the same exact thing. The only difference is that you're working through your own behalf representing a carrier. So it's basically vice versa, right? It's either you work for a company or you're representing a company through your own business. So what I want you guys to understand is don't get mixed up and don't think that you have to basically, learn a different type of format of dispatching, or you're going to use different type of load boards because you're management. No, the only thing that's really going to change obviously is paperwork. When you're working as an independent dispatcher for a trucking company, you're going to obviously use their paperwork, you're going to use all their information. You're obviously going to always do everything under their company regulations and rules. If you do start your own business, then obviously you're going to have your own documentation, your own paperwork, you're going to work under your own rules and regulations, and you're basically going to be your own boss. So what I want you guys to understand is that I don't want you guys to think that by becoming your own business or by becoming a independent dispatcher, the work task of a dispatcher will still be the same exact thing. The only thing that changes will be documentation, paperwork, and things of that nature. As far as finding freight, it's still going to be the same exact thing. And I'll give you guys an example. Whether you're a freight dispatcher, business owner, or just a independent dispatcher, you're still going to click on loads. You're going to do the same exact thing. You're going to get on the phone with these certain brokers and you're going to contact them. Now, the only difference is, like I said, that you're going to present yourself differently. If you're working as an independent dispatcher, you're going to say, hey, how's it going? My name is so-and-so. I'm calling on behalf of JKS Express Inc., for example, if you're working for that business. And I'm calling about the loads that you have from Fort George, Maryland, going over to Columbia, South Carolina. I see that you have the rate for 1,000. It's 502 miles, 8,000 pounds. I just wanted to see if you have any additional information on this specific load. They'll go ahead and explain everything to you. If you do want this load, then obviously you guys will go ahead and transmit your paperwork and exchange paperwork, documentation, or anything that you guys need to have exchanged at that certain time. Obviously, if you're working for someone, then like I said, you will be receiving everything under that company's name and getting everything done through the company's name that you're working for. That's really the only thing that changes, whether you want to become an independent dispatcher yourself or if you want to work as a or own your own business. That's really the only thing that's going to change. Now, if you were a dispatching business owner, then obviously you will present yourself as a dispatching business owner, and that you're representing this company, and that this company is the company that you're representing that's going to pick up the load for them. So I'll give you an example. My name is Carlos, so I'm calling over from American Logistics Academy. I'm a dispatching service. I'm calling on behalf of the truck company that I'm representing for this specific load. They're interested in it. It's going to be JKS Express Inc. I'm calling about the load from Fort George, Maryland, going over to Columbia, South Carolina. That's all that changes. Absolutely almost nothing, right? So what I want you guys to understand is that the format of becoming a dispatcher, whether you're an owner or whether you're an independent dispatcher working for a trucking company or a dispatching company, the same format of finding freight, of looking for freight, of doing everything, the task of a dispatcher will still be the same. Nothing is going to change to the point where you're going to get confused, or where you're going to, or where you guys are going to shy down to the, to the standards of becoming your own business owner, or just being able to be an independent dispatcher. Like I said, I just want you guys to understand that there is that opportunity out there, and obviously there's pros and cons. Obviously, if you are a freight dispatcher, independent dispatcher, then you don't have no upfront costs. You don't have to worry about building up a business. You don't have to worry about micromanaging anyone or managing at all. You're just there to basically do your job task. If you have trucks that you have to get loaded throughout the week, that is your task for that week. You will be on the load board, loading them just as anyone will, whether you're an independent dispatcher or a business owner. The only thing that changes, like I said, will be the format of how you do your work, whether you're a business owner and you're taking care of everything, or you're an independent dispatcher. And like I said, me personally, I believe that if you're completely new to the industry, I believe that you should take the route of becoming an independent dispatcher until you find the right comfort zone to be able to start your own business, build up reputation, build up population, build up experience in the transportation industry as a dispatcher, and little by little you will start to see that you can start your own business. But what I want you guys to understand is that whichever route you guys do decide to take, whether it's the owning your own business or working as an independent dispatcher, we wish you the best of luck, and that we know that with our training you will be successful in whichever direction you go. And that's what we are here for, to make sure that you guys understand that no matter which way you start or which way you go, you will be successful at it, and you will get whatever you want out of this career as much as you put into it. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and thank you for choosing American Logistics Academy as your provider, and helping you guys and guiding you guys through this next step in your careers and becoming freight dispatcher business individuals, or as just or just an individual freight dispatcher working for companies. So I know that this video here is going to help you guys tremendously. It's going to give you guys a lot more knowledge about the industry, and it's really going to give you guys an idea of, you know, whether you become a business owner or you become an independent dispatcher, there is revenue to be made in this industry, and that little by little you can go from building experience to building your own business, you know, within a couple of months to a year to 2 years to wherever you decide that you want to go ahead and do. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and say thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.